All right, let's work with 3D a bit more to get some practice manipulating things in 3 dimensions. We'll hand this one in too. So, so we'll create a new composition. Let's do it NTSC D1 square pixel, not widescreen, because for this, what we're making, I think just a less widescreen will be fine. The duration, it doesn't matter how long it is because we're not animating anything. We're going to export a still frame. And background color, it doesn't matter also. It might be easier to see what you're doing if you make it something that's not black. I have this dark blue-green color, so I was just going to leave it that way. All right. We want to just import one file, and I've given it to you guys. Should be called something like wall texture. Okay, so you have to download that. It's in the course videos area, and it's in a zip file also, so you have to extract it from the zip file. Okay, it's going to create problems, I think, if you try to take it out of the zip while you're in After Effects directly. I mean, unzip it to your disk. All right. Anyway, I'm going to import that and bring it down into here. And there it is. It's just this wall texture. And do I need to scale it down? I can always just move farther away. I guess I will hit S for scale and make it so it at least fits in like that. All right. Now we'll make a room out of this. Okay, a 3-dimensional room that we can go inside. All right. You can't. There's only certain things that you can make 3D in After Effects, right? Just pictures like this, a JPEG, you can rotate it around as we've already done. Lights and particle systems, right? You can bring in full geometry into After Effects, 3D geometry, and manipulate it, but that requires additional plugins made by other companies. After Effects doesn't do it natively. All right, so I'm going to Control D this. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want 5 walls. Okay, and I'm going to leave the front one open. So it'll be like a cube. We're looking in the front. And I'm going to just hit Enter and name this one, I guess, ceiling. And this one, I'm going to name floor. And left wall, I recommend naming them also so you don't get confused here. Right wall. And oops, nothing like spazzing out. Back wall. All right, and let's make all of them 3D objects. Okay. All right, so the back wall, we don't need to rotate it, right? Because it's the back there. The ceiling, I want to rotate it like this way, right? So it's the ceiling. And I can go to rotate here and just start rotating on this axis, right? Like that. If I open this thing up, I probably can just type these in, the numbers in. When you have a 3D object, you also have orientation instead of X, Y, and Z rotation. So it looks like one of them's 58, so I'm just going to change that to 90. Okay, and then I'll move it up. Okay, so that's the ceiling. Something like that. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't actually put a camera in. It probably makes sense to put a camera in, but I just went to custom view 1 and it lets me see it from like an angle, which is easier to figure out what you're doing here. So I'm going to go to back wall and I'll push it back like this. Okay. It's okay if we're going to be inside the room, so you want the JPEGs to overlap a little bit. If they have gaps between them, then that won't look good though, but it's okay if they overlap. All right, right wall. Okay. So if I start rotating, if I put my cursor on the Y axis, the green one, start going this way. Okay. And I can see that it's 80, I just went some amount. I'll just type in 90. I'm just rotating it some so I know which is the right axis here without thinking about it. So that's the right wall, right? So I'll push that back here like this. Yeah, this is going to work. How about the left wall? All right. So R for rotation. And so the opposite of 90 is 270, right? Okay, and then I'll just move this out here like this. And then this one is the floor. Okay. Whoops. And let's see, it's going to be on the rotating on the x-axis, right? So I'm going to put the dark, there's a dark half, so that's going to be 90, right? And then I'm going back and forth between the rotate tool and the move tool here. I'll just move this down. Let's add a camera to the scene so we can move around more freely. So layer, new, camera. Okay, all that stuff. And then I can change this to camera 1. And here we can see our room. And I can go to my camera track Z or like zoom in, and I can so I can kind of get in here like this. All right, or not, And I can go back. That custom view is kind of useful because it let me see what I was doing. Let's put a light in the room, okay? So layer, new, light. And this time, let's make it a point light, all right? If you happen to be in the 3D graphics class, it's the same as an omni light, right? It's a single point that radiates in all directions. Cast shadows we want on. I still have this left over from the last time where the shadow darkness is 65%. Maybe I'll make it 70. And shadow diffusion, I have it 50 pixels. I guess I'll leave it that way. So now we have this light in the room. And if I move it up and down, see it kind of like, whoops, don't spaz out. And remember, you can always select stuff just in your, I'm going to move the light and camera up to the top. You can always just select stuff in your layers area if it's hard to get a hold of it where you are. All right, let's put some type in the room, okay? So I'll take the type tool. I'm going to do 3D again because I'm using Impact, a nice big font. Let's see. Let's see, where's my character palette? I guess it is not in this window. Must be hidden. There it is. I'll make the type a little bigger. Oh, I got to make the type 3D, right? So you click on the little cube like I've already done to the JPEGs. And now it's 3D. Let's look in the top view and see where it is exactly. All right, so here's the box, right? And let's put it close to the back so it can cast a nice shadow on the wall. And I'll go back to my camera 1 or active camera. All right, so I believe we made the light cast shadows, right? And we need to make the JPEG receive shadows, if I recall correctly. Material options, right? I open up back wall, material options, and oh no, what I want to do is go to the 3D material options to my type and turn on cast shadows. There it is. All right, and if I move this thing around, I'm trying to get it so it looks a little cooler. That's all right. Maybe maybe I'll make the light a little bit sharper. The shadows a little sharper. So if I go to point light and light options, shadow diffusion is 50. Let's make it 25 instead, so it's not quite so dim. What if we put a layer style on the type? Wonder how that will look. Layer. I don't think it's gonna. Layer styles aren't truly 3D, but I think it might look okay anyway. Oh, guess I have to have the right thing selected. Layer styles. How about a little bevel and emboss on there? Oh, the shadow goes away. Isn't that interesting? Could have sworn I had done that before. Let's try and see if there's an effect like bevel alpha, effect perspective bevel alpha. Yeah. And I can turn up the edge thickness a little bit just to give it a little zing, you know? All right, let's copy control. I'm doing control A and then hitting U. Oops, just to close everything up. Let's duplicate our type so we can have a couple of them. And this one I will move a little bit in front. Maybe I'll rotate this one a little bit. I'm just trying to make a cool looking scene and whoops, not spaz out. Point light. Move the look. Good heavens. Point light. I'm in move. Yeah. And maybe I'll make this one a different color. And I should be able to see shadows on here, I think, but I don't, so I must not have turned on cast shadows. No, I think cast shadows is on. You'd think we would be able to see it on the accept shadows. Let's look at it in the top view and make sure. It seems pretty good. Well, maybe we don't need to worry about that so much right now, but it does seem like it should be casting a shadow. And it should be landing on the one in the back, I would think, but well, I don't know if I'm sure I could figure it out if I spent forever staring at it, but I don't know if I want to do that. Let me just put them closer to each other and see what happens. Interesting. Could it be because of the it was the alpha on there. Okay, threw it off. I knew it was something. All right, and I'm just going to get my camera and zoom in a little bit. And you can also, once you're in there, you could rotate around a little bit to orbit the camera to make it look more interesting. That looks pretty cool. All right, let me. All right, so let's export a single frame here. So there's nothing animated. It doesn't matter where we are in the timeline. Composition, save frame as. Now we've been using the Adobe Media Encoder queue. This time we're going to use the render queue, which actually happens down here. It's tabbed in. I think I was already messing with it, so it's tabbed in down here by where your composition is. So save frame as file, okay? And then down here, it's for output module, the top line we don't need to worry about, but down here we want to change this to JPEG, and here we put give it a location. All right, so if I click on Photoshop, and we want to change it to JPEG sequence, even though it's only one. And that should be fine. And here we just make sure you're putting it somewhere. Call it something. And then you have to hit this render button over here. Very fast because it was only one frame. All right. And let me just make sure, browse my way through here. Okay, so there it is. So that's what you want to hand in. Just try to make it look cool, okay? You can write whatever you want in there and just make it look like some 3D stuff is happening. All right.